Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101 Browns NFL early and late games post-game show and Sunday Night Football update show. We'll get to the Sunday night game we'll get to the Sunday night game in a moment, but first I'm going to do the Browns and the early games and all of today's action. Well, well, I'm gonna say it was by far one of those games that I did not hold my breath on the Browns winning, and I was right about it. The only thing the Chiefs had to worry about in the final minutes Sunday was Patrick Mahomes' ankle. Mahomes threw two touchdown passes before limping off with an ankle injury in the fourth quarter. Xavier Worthy ran for a score, and Kansas City finally had a relatively easy win, 21-7 over the mistake-prone Cleveland Browns. Mahomes connected for TDs in the first half with Juju Smith-Schuster, and Noah Gray as the Chiefs went to 13-1 in the season, built a 21-0 lead, and then slogged their way through an ugly second half. The defending Super Bowl champs have 10 wins by 7 points or less, with 6 coming on the game's final play. Mahomes didn't finish the game, leaving when his ankle got rolled up on while being tackled by Dalvin Tomlinson on fourth down. On a fourth down incompletion, Carson Wentz replaced him for the final 5:23. Mahomes finished with 19 of 38 for 159 yards. After the game, Mahomes said X-rays were negative. He said he would have lobbied harder to stay in if the Browns had gotten within one score. We'll get into the rehab part. The treatment part, and try to get back on a short week, said Mahomes. Nothing the Chiefs will play again Saturday, the second of 3 games in 11 days with an adrenaline. With all the adrenaline from the game, it's hard to tell now if he can play. Usually it's the day after when you get a good sense of it. Before Wentz went in, Mahomes had his left ankle retaped while on the bench. He walked gingerly off the field but didn't favor it while in the locker room or going to his post-game news conference. He was driven to the Chiefs buses on a cart. Coach Andy Reid was relieved. Mahomes was not more seriously hurt. It was not broken. That's all I can tell you, Reid said. We'll have to see how it goes down the road. The Browns, who fall to 3-11, tried to put up a fight. They had 6 turnovers other than a 62-yard TD run from Jerome Ford. Cleveland had a few offensive highlights and too many self-inflicted miscues. Jameis Winston threw more than 3 interceptions, 2 into the end zone to give him 8 in his last 3 games, and the Browns had 2 fumbles. The 5 turnovers made things much easier on Mahomes and the Chiefs. Not that they needed a lot of help. Cleveland running back Nick Chubb suffered a broken foot. It's another setback for the star who had a devastating knee injury last season. And he is out for the rest of the season, Nick Chubb. And hopefully we'll get him back next season. Winston was pulled after his 3rd pick and replaced by second-year QB Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who also was intercepted. Coach Kevin Stefanski would not commit to a starter for next week. You cannot turn the ball over 6 times and expect to win, Stefanski said, at any level. Cleveland's Jerry Jeudy had 11 catches for 108 yards and went over 1,000 for the season. The Chiefs' second TD, Mahomes' a 6-yard pass to Gray with 4:46 left in the first half came on the same play. Brown star defensive end Myles Garrett left the field with in extreme pain with an apparent eye injury. Garrett was rushing Mahomes and being blocked by Chiefs left tackle Joe Dunny. when he suddenly stopped. The league's reigning Defensive Player of the Year immediately grabbed his face mask and pulled off his helmet, flinging it away before dropping to the turf. Uh, uh, he being helped off as he was face down for several minutes, before being helped off as Garrett walked toward the locker room holding a towel to his face. Dunny came over and patted him on the back. Garrett was only gone for a short period of time. He ran back onto the field and finished the game. Thank God he's okay, Stefanski said. Uh, and The Chiefs took a 21 to nothing lead early in the third, capitalizing on a pick by Winston that went off Chubb's hands. 4 plays later, Worthy took a deep pitch from Mahomes, turned the corner, and scored. Kansas City's first score was set up by Cleveland's first turnover. And after the Browns forced the 3-and-out on Kansas City's first possession, Cleveland's James Approachy the second fumbled during a punt return, and the Chiefs recovered at the 21. Mahomes then connected with Schuster for a 7-yard TD with 12:12 left in the first quarter. Taylor Swift ended her world tour. She decided not to hit the road in the NFL just yet. The pop star had been expected to attend the game to cheer up boyfriend Travis Kelce, the Chiefs tight end who grew up in Cleveland, but Swift, who turned 35 on Friday, wasn't on hand despite rumors she would make an appearance. Taylor had been at several Chiefs games in Kansas City's past 2 seasons since she began dating Kelce. All right. Chiefs safety Samari Connor suffered a concussion while making a tackle in the second quarter. Kelce came up limping after an early play, but walked it off, and stayed in. He left the locker room before reporters had access. Browns quarterback Martin Emerson Jr. Went to the locker room in the second quarter to be evaluated for a concussion. He did not return. Defensive tackle Shelby Harris on an elbow injury went out in the second quarter. And the Browns will have to regroup as they will host the Bengals next Sunday and try to bounce back. We don't know who the starter will be yet. And the Chiefs host the Houston Texans on Saturday, the 21st, before visiting Pittsburgh on my birthday, Christmas Day. So, boy, too many turnovers. You cannot have 6 turnovers in this game, boys. You cannot win games on turnovers. And there just was not much to cheer about with the Browns, so I got to give the game balls, unfortunately, to the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, 19 of 38, 159 yards, 2 touchdowns. Xavier Worthy, 3 attempts, 30 yards, 1 touchdown. And Noah Gray, 2 receptions, 21 yards, and 1 TD. So, basically, it was not a good day for the Browns, but Jameis Winston had 16 of 25, conversion attempts, 146 yards, and 3 interceptions. Not good. 7 attempts for Jerome Ford, 7 attempts, 84 yards, 1 touchdown. And Jerry Jeudy, 11 receptions and 108 yards. The Browns' season is basically over because they're 3-11. There's no way they're going to the playoffs. But the Chiefs go to 13-1 on the season. And I took the Chiefs and won. So did my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle. And now to the other early games that took place today. The Dallas Cowboys got a big win over the Carolina Panthers, 30-14 at Bank of America Stadium in Carolina. And this was a win Dallas needed, and they got it. And I give the game balls to the Dallas Cowboys. And I took Dallas in one, and so did my brother-in-law Eric Hoyle. The Houston Texans beat the Miami Dolphins to clinch a playoff spot, 20-12. And I give the game balls to C.J. Stroud and the Texans. And I took Houston and won. My brother-in-law, however, took the Dolphins and lost. Uh, that was one we didn't agree on. The New York Jets battled back to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars at Everbank Field in Jacksonville, Florida, uh, 32-25. Uh, and I give it to Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. And Zach Wilson as well. And the Jets needed this win today, and they got it. And so I took the Jets and I won, and so did my brother in law, Eric Hoyle. We both won on that one. Uh, the Washington Commanders beat the New Orleans Saints at Caesars Superdome in New Orleans by 20-19. And I give the game boss to the Washington Commanders and to Alex Smith and the Washington Commanders. And I took Washington and won. My brother-in-law, however, took the Saints. That was another one we didn't agree on. And the Rams beat the 49ers Thursday night 12-6. That was three we didn't agree on. I won on that one. He lost. The Baltimore Ravens handled the New York Giants 35-14 today at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And I got to give the game boss to Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, and the Baltimore Ravens. Oh, and Derrick Henry as well, and the rest of the Baltimore Ravens. And I took Baltimore and won, and so did my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle. He took them too. He took the Ravens. And rounding out the early games, the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Tennessee Titans 37-27 at Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee to go to 6-8 on the season and keep their slim playoff hopes alive. Give it to Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and the Bengals. Give the game balls to them. And I took Cincy and won, and so did my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle. And that rounds out the early games. Moving on to the late games. The Arizona Cardinals handled the New England Patriots 30-17. I give it to Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, the game balls. And I took Arizona and won. So did my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle. He took them as well. Yeah, he took the Cardinals and won. Well, it was a shootout in Detroit. Detroit really trailed up and battled back, but weren't on it. But it was a great game, but came up short as the Buffalo Bills beat the Detroit Lions at Ford Field in Detroit in a shootout, 48-42. The most points scored in an NFL game this season, and it was a total of 90 points. And so Detroit goes to 10-2, and Baltimore goes to 9-3. And I got to give the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen and Amari Cooper and the rest of the Buffalo Bills the game balls. And I took Detroit and lost, and my brother-in-law did too. We both lost on that one. And the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 27-13 at Lincoln Financial Stadium in Philly. And I give the game balls to Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and the rest of the Philadelphia Eagles. I took Philly and won, so did my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle. And Baker Mayfield and the Bucs all over the Los Angeles Chargers, 40-17 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. And I give the game balls to Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. I took Tampa Bay and won, and so did my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle. He is 7-4, 8-4. Excuse me. He is 8-5. Excuse me. My brother-in-law is 8-5, and right now I am 12-1. My only loss I have is the Detroit Buffalo game because I took Detroit. And Don't forget tomorrow, doubleheader for Monday Night Football. The Chicago Bears are in Minnesota at US Bank Stadium to take on the Vikings. And the Atlanta Falcons are in Las Vegas to take on the Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. And right now, we're going to update you on the Sunday Night Football game. It's 14-3 Packers. And I have Green Bay, and so does my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle. And in the second quarter, with 12:59 to go to halftime, first and 10 at the Green Bay 29, and the Packers have the ball. And I'm going to update you of what happened so far. First quarter, the Packers scored their first touchdown of the game. Jacobs up the. It was a third and goal to Seattle win. Jacobs up the middle for the 1-yard touchdown, and McManus's extra point is good, and it was 7-0 Packers. The Seahawks had the point after going 3 and out, 4 plays, 12 yards, and then the Packers scored their second touchdown of the game. Jordan Love passed short middle to Dubs for the 13-yard touchdown. Orzek's McManus extra point is good, and it was 14-0. Excuse me. Seattle's tried to score a touchdown, but they couldn't do it. Myers is the fourth at the Green Bay 30. Myers 48-yard field goal attempt is good. 14-3 Seattle at the end. Green Bay, excuse me, at the end of the first quarter. And right now in the second quarter, it's a 3rd and 1 at the Green Bay 38. Jordan Love pass short left to Wicks for the Green Bay 40 for a 2-yard gain. And right now, that is where we stand right now. So, and it's a 1st and 10 at the Green Bay 40, and the Packers have the ball with 11:04 left to go in the second quarter. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for the Scout Sports 101. Oh, whoops. Browns NFL early late games post-game show and the Sunday Night Football stage show. I'll be back with the Sunday Night Football post-game show once the game between the Packers and the Seahawks has concluded. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.